The entire purpose of this live stream is to talk about how did this video involving Karmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf, Hunter Metcalf get released, so kind of sort of to the public, and why was this video released? I just came back from Frisco last week. I flew 1,300 miles to go and see the video at Frisco ISD. I released a video on YouTube. You can search me up, Jannina in real life, the same as TikTok, and you all can watch my honest review on that. I'm not going to get too much into it now, but a lot of people questioned me and said, well, who are you to go and see a video? Is there really a video? Why would they show you a video? Why would they even release a video and not show it to the public? And I asked around, and everybody led me to Tiffney Billions. Now, I want to go ahead and get this out of the way. I just came across Tiffney Billions maybe a month or so ago, and I came across her profile on someone else's page that posted information about her, and I wanted to know who this person was. So had it not been for this person posting this information about Tiffney, I probably wouldn't have known who she was unless I was heavy into the TikTok stream. And as I honestly sat back and started listening, I started to notice some things. I listened to the things that she said, and not only the things that she said, but the receipts that she's shown and things of that nature. So I knew that I wanted to talk to her, especially when I learned that she had something to do with this video release. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the introduction of Miss Tiffney Billions. Tiffney Billions, activist, organizer, and voice for the people. Tiffney Billions has been a relentless force in the fight for justice and accountability since 2008. Her journey began with the tragic case of Clinton Allen, an unarmed Black man fatally shot by Dallas police officer Clark Staller. Working closely with Clinton's family and community members, Tiffney helped galvanize public attention and demand answers, marking the beginning of her unwavering commitment to ending police violence. Her grassroots work with Clinton Allen's case contributed to the founding of Mothers Against Police Brutality, a national organization amplifying the voices of families affected by police violence and advocating for systemic reform. As an early contributor and organizer, Tiffney helped shape MAPB's mission of empowering grieving families and holding law enforcement accountable. Tiffney has also advocated for justice in the case of James Harper, Dante Wright, and Botham Jean, working directly with impacted families and communities to expose corruption, challenge systemic racism, and push for legal reform. Her activism transcends hashtags. It is rooted in boots on the ground organizing, survivor support, and unfiltered truth-telling. Throughout her years of activism, Tiffney has worked alongside revolutionary organizations, including the Black Panthers and Guerrilla Mainframe, aligning herself with movements that center Black liberation, community defense, and radical change. Whether on the front lines of protests, behind the scenes, coordinating support, or fearlessly speaking truth to power, Tiffney continues to be a voice that cannot be silenced. With over a decade of experience navigating the intersections of injustice, grief, and resistance, Tiffney Billions is not only an activist, she is a movement. Y'all clap it up. Groups in the chat, ones in the chat for Tiffney. Please, let's welcome her. Hi, Tiffney.
Hey, Jannina. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
I appreciating you making the time. Okay, so I have all my questions, and we are gonna get into it. So, Tiffney, my first question to you is, what made you interested and active in this case? So I've seen lots of speculation that, you're a paid actor, this, that, and the third, and that you are doing things, for monetary reasons. Do you mind sharing what made you get involved in this case?
Yeah, so I'll share that. I was really taking a break, of vacation from advocacy, and I really did not want to get involved in another case. because if you've been an activist, you know that it can be extremely stressful at times, and these cases don't resolve or solve themselves in overnight. It generally takes a year and a half, 2 years. So one of my good friends, Candy, emailed me, or sent me a text message about the case, and I believe that's because she was aware that I lived in Frisco, and she also knew that um, that I hadn't been an activist. I hadn't done activism work for quite a while. So she messaged me about it, and I just kind of looked at it a little bit and said, "Oh, okay," and just kind of continued on. The next week, she sent me another message. The third time that she sent me a message, I actually read the details, because there's a difference between reading an article and then reading in between the lines. And
Right.
what was interesting to me, what actually made me want to dig a little further into the case, is what they were not saying. So there was a lot being said about the incident, but then there was a lot missing. So that kind of opened it up for me, and I started digging at that point.
So Frisco is pretty much your back door. So you are in this community where this has happened. Before we get into the question, do you think that this case should remain in Frisco, being that you're from there and know the community?
No, I don't. I don't. I think, in my opinion, I believe that the venue needs to change.
Okay. If there was some place that it would should change, do you have an idea likely of where they would change it to, or
I
an
would,
idea of
well,
how
I
that
don't have,
works?
yeah, I don't have an idea, but I would love for the venue to be changed to Dallas.
Okay. Is there any particular reason why Dallas? Is
Yeah,
it
absolutely. I think so. Frisco is about 50% Caucasian, 30% Asian, which accounts for the Pakistani population.
Mhm.
And then the other percentage, the other 20% is like a mix, right? Of black people and different ethnicities. In Dallas is heavily populated with people that would be considered a jury of Carmelo's peers.
Mhm.
Right? And so, in my opinion, and even in my legal opinion, I think that a jury of your peers are a group of people who look like you, believe like you, and live like you. And
Mhm.
so, I don't think you're going to find a handful of, you're not going to find plentiful jurors in Collin County that would be considered a jury of Karmelo Anthony's peers.
I I agree. I think first of all, with me visiting there, I was kind of all around Frisco, and I would say that I did not see a lot of
Right,
people of color
right.
um, in any place that I went, and so I did notice that. So, at what point, because we're here about the video footage, at what point did video come into your mind? You got the message from your friend, you looked into the case, you see what wasn't being said. What made you think video?
Well, so it was just interesting to me that all of the statements that were being made in the media were, the witness statements. There was nothing to back up their statements. So I started thinking, what could back up their statements? And I was like, I couldn't figure that out. I was asleep actually in my bed, and I always say it was the voice of God that woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I sat up in the bed, and I remembered that Frisco ISD had an app that the games are played on. That they actually broadcast the games from an app. So that morning, I reached out to that particular company, and they said, "Yeah, we broadcast the games, but you're wanting us to go back and look at something that's already occurred. We don't have that data anymore. You need to reach out to Frisco ISD." So that is what actually caused me to reach out to Frisco ISD. That company told me that the data would be held on Frisco ISD servers.
And so I, based on the documentation that you sent me, and by the way, you all, she sent me a lot of documentation. And when I say sent, she just didn't download it and upload it to an email. Like she forwarded me the actual email. So I was able to see, who it was sent to, when it was sent, what was attached, and all of those things. So I know that there was quite a process to
Yes.
get this video based on what you sent me, and I tried my best to create that timeline, and we'll kind of get into that. But I do remember at one point around like May 1st, like the emails between you all were almost kind of like a couple emails that day. But we'll start from the beginning. So you called that company. They said that, this ain't something we got. We turned it over to Frisco ISD. What was your first step? Like, what was that communication like with them? And what was their response?
So the first thing I did was I was thinking, let me request a FOIA. Let me do a Freedom of Information Act request. Let me do a public request. But I said, let me call first before I do that, and let me ask them if do they have that data on their servers? Do they have backup servers? So I called. I don't remember the lady that I spoke with. I got past the secretary. And I told the secretary what I wanted, and she referred me to someone. And I spoke with the lady on the phone, and she said, "Well, that's absolutely not true. Whoever told you that, that's not true. We don't have that footage. We don't. We wouldn't keep that here. That would be kept with the other company that the company that has the app. And if they're saying they don't have it, then it doesn't exist." So I said, "Okay, fine." I just told her thank you, got off the phone, and then I submitted. I went to Frisco ISD, their website, and submitted a FOIA request.
So I did see that. Let me go just to give y'all around the dates of how early this was. So the incident took place on April 2nd, 2025. Based on what I remember seeing, your FOIA request to Frisco ISD was on 4/16/2025. So essentially, they told you that they wouldn't have had footage like that, but you knew that they had some sort of footage because of what the company had previously told you.
Right.
And once you made that FOIA request, they responded to you, and that was around like the 28th. And do you remember kind of what their initial response to you was when you just went ahead and made that FOIA request?
I think I'm not sure what they said. So much has transpired since then. But if I were to guess, I would say that they said that they couldn't show me the video or something.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. No, it's okay. I did take a little notes.
Okay, good.
So based on what I looked at in the email, they cited FERPA as the reason why
They
they
couldn't show
couldn't
me.
they couldn't give you the request. And you immediately responded back like, y'all could redact this, I could pay. And you said that if they denied you, that you were basically going to file a complaint with the attorney general, which I believe that you did because they offered you the opportunity to come and see the video,
Right.
but you wanted a copy, correct?
Right.
So initially, you did that request under the FOIA or the PRR. And for those of you that don't know, do you mind telling people that may not know, just in simple terms, like what a FOIA request?
Yeah, so a FOIA request, FOIA stands for Freedom of Information Act. And that's an act that basically gives citizens the right to request information that is held publicly, that is held by the government, that should be public. So any government entity that is funded publicly, if they have documents or anything like that, if you submit a FOIA request, they are required by law to release those documents to you.
Yes. And for those of you that don't know, if they give you pushback and they choose not to try to release that information, then people should basically do what it is that you did, which was you escalated it up to
Right.
the Texas Office of
Attorney General.
Attorney General. Now, I did see the initial list of people that went, and I believe that it was out of order. I
Mm-hmm.
I do remember seeing on that documentation that initially you went under the name of Susan
Yes.
McDowell, and I know that there was a lot of confusion as to if that was truly you and if you really did it. So
Yeah.
are you okay with confirming that you are Susan McDowell? I mean, I saw it, but
Yeah.
for the people that
I
didn't,
am, and let me explain why I use that alias. And by the way, the Constitution states that I have a right to alias. But let me explain why I use that alias. Sometimes, when I'm working cases, or there are cases that I think I'm going to work, and I pull documentation, and there's really nothing to work, right? Sometimes, when I work cases like that, law enforcement officials will recognize my name if I use Tiffney Billions, and I get a lot of pushback, right? So when I initially submitted the FOIA request, I've learned to submit it under an alias, and then when they start responding to me, I'm comfortable with using my name.
and I did see that in that documentation. For any of you wondering, after she used that name, she did start to use her real name. And in the paperwork, I remember seeing Tiffney Billions, and then in like parentheses, it
Mhm.
said,
Susan
Susan McDowell. Now, one of the things that I did notice, and I was like, I'm gonna ask her this: is the last name does the last name McDowell have any reference to Coming to America and the McDowells?
You know what? It does. It does. I didn't think anybody would catch that, but it does.
And you know
It
what?
does.
I called it and I said McDowell's, Susan
Mhm.
McDowell's, and I was like, Susan McDowell's Coming to America, and it was actually Lisa
Right.
McDowell's. I
Right.
said, look at her. Like I caught on to that. See, y'all
Yes.
be paying attention. You gotta pay attention. I thought that was hilarious. I mean, you kind of explained why you made the request under um the alias. And so there was some back and forth. They didn't want to release it. They invited you to see the video. And I saw that you were like, no, I don't want to see
Right.
the video. I want a copy.
Right.
What was kind of, I guess, the reason for that fight for the copy
Mhm.
versus allowing you to come in and see it? Like, why did you reject that?
Okay. So I rejected the initial offer to come view the video because for me it doesn't make sense that you would let me come view the video but you wouldn't let me walk away with it.
Hmm.
Right? If you're going to let me view it, then you may as well just email it to me.
Right.
So that was my thought process. But then after I thought about it, I was like, no, let me go ahead and make this appointment to go see it.
So you went to see the video. I kind of know what that experience was like, but do you mind sharing like what that experience was like, being that you were pretty much the first person to go and see this video? I would imagine that they probably had not really maybe developed any protocols that other people may have experienced. Do you mind sharing, if you want to, a little
Yeah,
bit what that was like? And
yeah,
you don't have to
absolutely.
tell what took place on the video if you don't want
Yeah.
to, but just kind of explain to us, walk us through that. The moment you buzz that door and they're like, "Hello, can we help you?"
Okay, so I buzzed the door. They asked me to put my ID in front of the door, and I did that. And I came in. They scanned my ID. When I came in, I waved at the private investigator because he was there waiting for me. I had alerted him, the family's PI, that there was a video. So he was there waiting for me. They scanned my ID in, gave me the little sticky badge that you put on.
Mhm.
We both, that was my first time meeting the family's private investigator. So we shook hands, met each other, sat there and talked for a while. And then there was a lady named Wendy that came around the corner and told us both that she was ready to take us upstairs.
Okay, so you went upstairs, and I know when I saw the video, I had to see it from this little tiny screen that was on the wall, and it made me sit down. Was that
No.
a little different, or
Yes.
what was that experience like?
So initially, Wendy took us to an office. I would think that it was her office,
Mhm.
and there was we sat down at a table, like a regular table, the height of a desk, and there was a computer right in front of us,
Mhm.
and so there was a laptop. I'm sorry, right in front of us, and Wendy could not, for the life of her, figure out how to make the video play. Um, so we sat there for about 10 to 15 minutes until finally the PI reached over and he began to mess with the computer. He reached the point where he said, "There's something going on with this laptop. It's not working properly." He literally said, there is someone here. I can't remember the name of the guy, but he's the attorney for Frisco ISD. He asked Wendy to call him into Wendy's office, and so she said sure. She got up and she went to get him, and he came into the office, and he said, "Hey, don't worry about dealing with this laptop. Come view it in my office." And so both myself and the private investigator got up and he walked us to his office. There was a standing desk there. So the desk came up to about my chest. I'm like 5'7". So the desk came up to our chest, and there were two monitors there, right? So you could literally like drag the video over from one monitor to the other monitor. It's a dual monitor. Mm-hmm. So we're standing there, and if I reached my hand out, I'm telling you, that's how close we were to the screen. If I reached my hand out, I would literally just touch the screen. And so we're standing there, we're watching the video, and we're trying to figure out who's who. And the attorney literally walks away from the video, walks behind us, and stands to the side. As he stands to the side, the PI grabs the mouse and he starts manipulating the video by zooming in, zooming out, rewinding certain parts, stopping and pausing it. And then at that point, he looked at the attorney and he said, "Did you get my letter of preservation?" And the attorney confirmed it. "Yes, I got it." And then the PI handed him another letter of preservation and said, we'll be sending subpoenas over soon."
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And that was basically it. We all said thank you, and basically, walked ourselves back down from the fourth floor to the first.
Did the PI explain what the preservation was for, or what that letter, the purpose of that letter?
He didn't explain that, but I understand what it is. It's basically a letter that says, don't destroy any of this evidence, preserve this evidence because we're going to need it. And we will be also issuing a subpoena.
So, and we do know that since after the indictment that Karmelo's attorney, Mike Howard, did submit the subpoena application for that footage. So I would imagine that footage and other footage is likely what the PI is going to be looking for.
More than likely. And let me say this also, there were 5 videos up. There was a video of the school buses just sitting there. There was a video of children coming in and out the gate. There was a video of the front of the school. There was another video, I can't remember what was on it. And then there was the video of the incident. So there were actually 5 videos up. We clicked on the video of the buses, and I wanted to do that simply to see if we could see children getting off the bus and getting on the bus. But it was such a long time that the buses were just sitting there. It was just like there was nothing going on, right? There was nothing going on. The second video, which showed children going in and out of a gate, the attorney told me, he said, that's not here. That's not here at the stadium. That's another school. He said the videos, they rotate to different schools, and they're not consistently on a particular area all the time.
Okay, so, and of course I have to ask, but do you mind sharing like maybe what your thoughts are based on what you saw on that video, or how it made you feel, or anything just to give us an idea based on your perspective, maybe what your experience was, because it sounds like you certainly got to see a lot more than other people did, and kind of in an unrestricted way.
Yeah, I feel like I did get to see a bit more, but I can tell you that when I walked away from seeing that video, I was confused because it didn't match the narrative. I was, that part of you that wants to say, well, why would they lie? Mm-hmm. It's always that part, and you'll never understand why people misrepresent facts. Sometimes they just do. So when I clicked on that portion, when PI clicked on that portion of the video, of course you see the tent, but you don't see all of the tent. There is like the top portion is cut out. I don't know how to really describe that. And then you do see from the right side of the screen individuals walking over to the area of the bleachers. Um, and then at that point, they kind of blend in when they get to the bleachers, and that point that at that point it's a little convoluted, but you do see them show back up, and you see them surround someone in a gray sweatshirt. Now, prior to this, when you're just watching the video, you just see everybody just sitting there. It's like peaceful. It's calm. You see the raindrops. You see, so you see people, a couple of people walking in front of the track or on the side of the track. Not very much going on, right? And it doesn't look like there's not a lot of room. Like under the tent, it's people are sitting and it's occupied. Once the individuals appeared to surround the person in the gray sweatshirt, I wasn't sure that was Karmelo, and neither was the PI. He pointed it out and he said, "I think that's Karmelo." And I said, "Okay." And so we're watching, and the next thing I see is a lot of movement on that back row where Karmelo was sitting, just a lot of movement, and you can't see his sweatshirt anymore, but it's definitely a fight. It's definitely a fight on that back row. And then you see him emerge from a sea of black hoodies. You see him run up, upwards, off camera, and then it's like he just darts down diagonally. He gets to the last two steps of the bleachers, falls, looks behind him, and gets up and takes off running really, really quick. And as he falls, you see who I believe is Austin walk down the middle of the bleachers, and he's walking very staggeredly, almost like a Frankenstein walk. And he gets down to the bottom of the where the ground is, the asphalt, and he walks up to someone who's facing him, and he just falls on the ground. And that's what I saw.
And I know that kind of after that, eventually the paramedics show up. Looking at that video, because to me, there appeared to be like almost no sense of urgency. Would you say that is the same as what like you saw? And when I say sense of urgency, I mean like with the paramedics, because I felt like they were just like there. I remember just thinking like, okay, hurry up. Like, are we going to zip off and get to the hospital? Did you kind of see the same thing? Do you remember seeing kind of the same thing? Or
so I honestly I can't speak to that part, Jannina, because I didn't see that part. Once I saw Austin fall to the ground, that it was like, okay, this is the video. Because I was just trying to confirm that this was the video. So I didn't stay long enough to watch the paramedics and all of that. I could have. I just didn't. I just didn't.
So after you saw this video, I'd imagine that no one like knew that there was the opportunity now to make the PIR request to go and see the video. How did others find out that this was there to go and see?
So, I'm not really on TikTok a lot, but I was scrolling through the lives, and I would hear consistently that this was a subject of interest. People were constantly speaking about Karmelo, and people were saying, "Well, we'll never know what happened until there's a trial. You guys aren't the jury. There is no video." I believe the witness statements. Well, the statement said, and the witness said, and everybody was just dependent upon the witness statements and what the jury is going to say. So I dipped off in one live, and I made a comment in the live, and I said, "There is a video." And it actually took off from there. They asked me to come up and prove that there was a video and all of that. So that's when all of the rigmarole started. Everybody was like, "She's lying. There's no video. She's a liar. She's a felon. She's a convict." All of this, and none of that has anything to do with whether or not there's a video or not.
Right.
And so That's kind of how it started.
So, do you think that uncovering and fighting to at least make this video or get access to this video, do you think that that helps or like hurts the case? Because I've heard a lot of people say, well, them releasing a video takes the jury pool, this, that, and the third. What are your thoughts on that?
I think what's on video is fact. If someone records something, that's a fact. So how can facts taint the jury pool? I don't. That's a very weird way of looking at releasing facts. Like, oh my God, you're going to taint the jury pool because you're releasing the truth. To me, that's kind of weird. That's a weird way of thinking. I don't understand that way of thinking. What do you want me to do? Release a lie, or what do you want us to do? Just stay silent? Like, I think it's important to speak out about it, because if you don't speak out and say, "Hey, there's a video," then what's going on social media is just a pure misinformation campaign. You're just going to have creators running around saying, "There's no video, so let's just discuss it and make stuff up and create our own scenarios." And I wanted to stop that. There is a video, you guys. If you really want to know the truth, why don't you go take a look at it instead of getting on here and speculating? Speculation taints the jury pool.
Right.
Lies taint the jury pool, not the truth. The video is the truth.
Would you recommend that people still go and see the video even due to the new restriction that they have on the video? Like, do you think it's worth it to still go and see it?
I don't know, because I honestly don't know. The reason why is because I've since the I don't know if I want to get into that. Since someone went and saw the video and did something they weren't supposed to do, two people have received emails after requesting to see the video, basically stating that they're not allowing anyone to see the video. They're going to wait on the Office of the Attorney General's opinion.
Wow. So this would be the second time that they're waiting for an Office of Attorney General's opinion, because if I remember correctly, didn't somewhere in between you waiting to get access to see the video, that I remember there was something about the Attorney General, not the Attorney General, but I guess maybe
Yeah, yeah.
you know
What?
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. So I think what you're referring to is, after I saw the video, Frisco Independent School District responded to me and they said, "Oh, great, you've seen the video. Now we'll close out your request." And I responded back to them, basically stating, "Yes, I've seen the video, but you didn't follow FOIA law, which was you're supposed to email me a copy of the video. And if you don't email it to me in 5 days, I'm going to file a complaint with the Office of the Attorney General." And so that's the decision they're waiting on.
So I know, and you also got a letter, I believe, from, not, I don't think you got the letter, but some kind of way you uncovered a letter from the prosecution office. It was like a compelling interest
Right.
letter.
So, yeah. So what the district attorney did was, first of all, Frisco Independent School District alerted the district attorney's office that I was requesting the video be emailed to me. And the district attorney's office responded with a compelling interest letter, which I knew they would. And I requested that letter just to see if it existed. And it did, because you saw they sent it to me.
Right.
And they basically said, "We don't want to release this video because there's an ongoing, we have a compelling interest in this video and there's an ongoing investigation."
And so they are now, I guess, leveraging
That.
that, and with the incident that happened recently with someone going in with the phone
Right.
on record. And have I know you make a lot of requests, but do you know if anything will come of that? Like,
If anything will come of what?
for this individual going to see this video.
Yeah, I received an email from, so I did file a complaint, and I let Frisco Independent School District, um, uh, the district attorney's office and Frisco Police Department know that this individual went in and recorded the audio. Um, and the audio of the administrator giving her instruction, giving this individual and another young man instruction. And I sent over that audio to all three agencies. They responded the next, well, the independent school district, Mike Waldrop, he sent me an email the next morning basically stating that he had forwarded all the information to the police department and that it's under investigation.
So that incident now is under investigation. That's interesting to know, to see what comes about of that. So this is,
Yeah.
sounds like you're saying it's pretty serious, because I know that there was a lot of discourse about it because there was no audio,
Right.
all of those things. So it seems like they're taking this serious.
Yeah, I think for so I emailed, I think it was like 8 p.m. and on a Tuesday or something like that, or Thursday, and they emailed me back pretty quickly. Mike Waldrop, the superintendent, he emailed me back at 8:33 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
So, the next day. So I think it is something that I think it's something that they're taking very seriously, because I don't think they want people coming in there feeling like they can just record, right? In any case, whether a case happens next year and, what somebody will think is that, oh, because, nothing happened to the other girl, I'm just going to go in here and record. And I don't think they want to set that type of standard.
Right. And that's understandable. Now, because I watch from, all sides of the spectrum for who supports who, I see everything. And I do notice that there are people that, don't agree with what you're doing, feel like you're sticking your nose in other people's business. Number one, what keeps you going? But number two, what do you think about the thought of people thinking that this isn't your business?
Well, I think it's not their business that I think it's my business. That's what I think. If it's none of my business, then if this video, in this case, is none of my business, then I'm none of your business as well. So why are you worried about it? That's just how I think. Like, why are you worried about it? If this is not my business, then how are you over here in my business? That's not your business. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And how do I keep going? I'm just, you know, listen, I know who I am, right? And a lot of people don't even know what their name means, right? My name means the appearance and the manifestation of God. And so I know that. I wake up every morning knowing that. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not, but I know how I'm supposed to be moving and I know what I'm here to do. So and I'm here to help families. And one of those families is the Anthony families, and I'm going to continue to help them. It doesn't matter what people say.
So, to anybody who might be interested in stepping into that advocacy role, and they're possibly afraid of being doxxed, or they might have a background and they're afraid of having that leveraged against them, what advice would you give to those people?
That's a good question. Because it's a great question, Jannina. The reason why I say that is because there is, this is what I would say to them. After they dox you, what else can they do? So doxing literally takes away their power. When someone dox you and they put your information out there, what else can they do after that? Whatever they do after that, I guarantee you, it is going to be, if it goes a step further, it's going to be illegal, and you'll have the opportunity to put them in jail. So if doxing is all that you can do, you're really powerless. You don't have any power.
And doxing, as I understand it, is a federal offense, right? So that's like at more FBI, like
Right.
federal, correct?
Right. And let me say this, for anyone who has doxed me or put my information out there, or did anything of the sort, trust me, I've already made an FBI report.
Okay, you
Yeah.
guys heard it here. If you dox Tiffney, she's already made an FBI.
Yeah, and let me say this too, Jannina, because a lot of people don't know this. If you're doxxed or something, you can actually call your local FBI office and go down there and visit them, and go down there with the screenshots, like print out the screenshots and create a file so that they know that you're serious about it. Or if you don't want to go to the FBI office, you can go to www.ic3.gov. That's I as in igloo, C as in cat, 3 as the number 3.gov, and you can actually report that person for doxing.
Okay, and then I guess they would probably reach back out to you. You can provide your documentation.
Right, right.
Hey, did y'all hear? If somebody could put that information in the comments so that other people know. So we're nearing the end of the questions, and is there any one thing that, or anything in particular that you want for people to know or understand about this case, or is there anything that people need to be informed of? Because this is the purpose of this is for hopefully that people can walk away with more information, to be more informed. Is there anything that people need to keep in the forefront of their mind and keep their eye on?
Right. Yeah, there are two things. The first thing is in any case where you're advocating or you're attempting to help people, or in this case, I want you guys to keep your ear to the street when you hear the media. When you hear the media's narrative line up with the police department's narrative, you know that you need to do some research, right? Because a lot of times the media, the police department, and the district attorney will align their stories. All of their stories will sound the same. But when you begin to dig and get documentation and video evidence, then you're going to find out the truth. Also, social media and social media influencers are the new journalists, right? Remember, we had all those media outlets going and they were saying we couldn't see anything on the video, we couldn't see anything. And that's simply not true. We had regular citizens go in and say that they could see, and everybody's story was lining up. And so I think it's important to know that when you push narratives that are untrue, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. It's okay to investigate the media. It's okay to investigate the police. It's okay to investigate the district attorney's office. You must be fearless and relentless. And I want to close with saying, or not close, but just kind of end what I'm saying with you guys. We're going to continue to advocate for Karmelo Anthony because we believe that he is innocent. We know that the video shows that he is innocent. And no matter what campaign comes up, we're going to continue to give to the Give, Send, and Go and continue to support the Anthony family.
Okay, and so on your journey, and in the capacity that you are advocating um, for this case, what is next for you? Are you just going to keep your eyes on things as they progress, or is there anything specific that you are tackling, that you plan on tackling over this period of now in between the case, or well, the trial starting June 1st of 2026?
Right. Well, what's next for me is creating a plethora of Tiffney Billions, people who do what I do, teaching people how to research, teaching people how to attack cases, teaching people how to find the lies and find the needle in the haystack. I want to do that and be able to spread it to every state where we have disruptors in every state. We have people who are doing investigative work in every state, so that when a case pops up and it looks like that person is innocent, we can do a deep dive. We can do a deep dive on people who are incarcerated falsely, and we can pull evidence that probably was exculpatory if it had been presented in court, and we can secure their freedom, and prove that they're innocent. So I just want to create like a million Tiffney Billions, whether you're male or female, to go out there and do the work done and set people free.
And I'd imagine that this is uh, people of all backgrounds. That it sounds like you are trying to empower people
Yes.
with the information on uh, how to gather and research. Because honestly, I think that it's a skill that's
Mm-hmm.
transferable, um, not to just this case, but to any case that people are advocating for. Because one of the things that I know as someone who covers stories is I get a lot of inboxes from people wanting me to help them tell their stories. And I think that people really need to learn how to uh, people should be empowered to tell their own story. So, last question is please let the people know for those that want to stay up to date with you, what is the best way to do that? I believe that you don't have the Facebook anymore. So, what is the best way for people to, find you?
So the best way, there are two ways actually. The best way is to follow me on TikTok so that you'll get a notification when I go live because I don't go live during a specific time. It's all sorts of different times. Also to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is in my TikTok bio, Disruption for Disruptors. You'll subscribe to that channel and you'll stay up to date on any new evidence. I'll post it there. Yeah, that's how you keep up to date with me on TikTok and YouTube.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. And I'm so grateful for having you. And I forgot there was one more question because I want to ask this for all my guests is to you, what does it mean to be informed?
Wow, that's deep. To be informed means to be in a state of mind where you can smell a lie and seek out the truth. That is to be informed. To be informed is to know systems and know how they operate. To be informed is to hear a story. You hear what's being said, but you also hear what's not being said, right? And so that is what it means to me to be informed. To that actually shows you where to go and where to start looking and digging.
I agree. And I like that definition. So, y'all, hearts in the chat for Miss Tiffney Billions. Okay.
Thank
Hearts
you
in the
so
chat,
much for
hearts in
having
the
me, Jannina.
chat.